morning, happy dog training tip Thursday. So this one is coming to you from my car because I'm out and about today. But today's tip is something that I wrote about earlier in the week on my social media, so on Facebook and Instagram. So if you aren't, a lot of these tips are on YouTube. So if you aren't on YouTube, subscribe to Dogmanship Training YouTube channel. But this tip is about giving your dog rewards. So some people are all for giving their dogs food and toys and playing tug and things like that as a reward during training. And then there are the other end of the scale where they're like, absolutely no way during training. And so I'm a little bit in the middle. So I definitely do use food and play and rewards like toys and things like that during training. However, I'm also mindful of the dogs not being dependent on it. And if your dog isn't motivated by those things, particularly in the early stages of training, we don't need them to be able to get results in the training process. So the tip for today is that when you are using food in particular, but toys and everything still apply, but food in particular, what I want you to be mindful of is that you're not using it as a bribe, but you're using it as a reward for majority of behaviors. So some behaviors you can lure, like as in you use the food to guide them into position, especially for trick training and things like that. But for behavior modification, the best way to use food reward is for the behavior to happen and then the food comes out almost like a bonus afterwards, rather than it being your dog starts doing it because the food is present. They don't realize that a treat could be coming and then the treat comes, and so it's like, oh wow, what did I do then that earned me that? I'm going to do that next time, not I'm only doing this because there's food there. Okay, so that's another really important point that I wanted to cover today, is that you don't want your dog to become dependent on only doing any behavior just because there's a reward present or a reward is definitely coming. So what you want to do is use intermittent rewards. So you can use rewards, but try, especially after you've got the foundation set. So in the early days of teaching a skill, you can use the reward quite frequently. But then what I want you to do is use it randomly. So you might do 1 rep with, 1 rep without. And so you're still going to reward them by going good dog and, a bit of praise. But to give something of more value, you're going to do it randomly. So they're always hopeful that the reward might be there, that you might bring out a treat or a toy or something like that, but they're not becoming dependent on that reward coming out. So they are definitely wanting it. They're driven. It keeps the motivation high. It keeps the behavior energetic. But it also means that they are going to not be dependent and going, I'm only going to do this if there's a food reward coming. And if I know that there's no food reward, I'm not going to do it. So it keeps them hopeful, but it also means that you don't have to constantly have food on you for your dog's behavior to be good. So if you do go out for a walk and you don't take treats, or you're at home and you don't want to have treats around the house in your pockets and stuff, they're always going to be good, but you can still reward them randomly so that it keeps that hope and that motivation up. And it's just also that morale in the relationship. It's just an exchange. You do something for me and you're really good, and so I'm going to give you something back. So it can be relationship building as well. So I hope that all makes sense. Hope you have a great day. As I said, if you haven't already, make sure you're following me on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Few places to be. I'm hoping to become a little bit more present on YouTube because I'm really loving making the videos. So hopefully you can subscribe there, and I'll see you there. Bye.